Shout out to those who have escaped the matrix.
Hey, Cory, how are you?
I just get stupid. Again, we're just messing around here. So, but you want to catch everything naturally.
I really like that the guys from Las Vegas. Are you already recording?
We are. Yeah, but there's nobody here.
I know.
There's nobody watching.
Good.
This encounter is being recorded.
Fire sign chat. Because we're both fire signs.
Fire sign chat.
Leos and Aries.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Is that kind of fun?
Right.
But it's also exciting because fire is exciting.
Fire's exciting. If you use it correctly. Hey, Jacqui.
Lay out loud.
Hey, Jacqui.
Lay out loud.
Fire sign chat.
Punches you in the throat.
Oh, this is fire sign chat. Today we're going to be discussing the fire sign. Cory, no, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, so what I wanted to discuss is, and I caught myself doing it today, and I'll do it with usually people, we all do it, but people you don't know that well, because it's just like a greeting.
It is.
You don't really want to know how they're doing.
No, you don't.
Right?
Yep, that's right.
But then sometimes it's a good friend or a family member, and you do want to know how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a way to use your atonement to get across that you're actually interested in.
Right. But here's the other thing is, how often should you, I like to use the word lie, even though I use it affectionately, because do you want to claim that you're having a bad day or whatever?
No, so normally you don't, because you don't want to burden other people with your problems.
Right, but do you also want to burden yourself? Because if you, I've got to show you that video.
Then it makes you think. Then it makes you really
then
deep
your
dive.
subconscious says, yeah, she is having a bad day.
Yes.
You know? So it's kind of like, right.
So you're talking about this in terms of content or a
content.
Content. Okay, not necessarily a name.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I switched.
We switched. Yeah, you're as bad as Sonia. Because with her, I'm like, I'm thinking we're still talking about the new car we're going to get, and she's already talking about, the bills that we have to pay.
Right,
like,
I know.
Oh yeah, that doesn't match.
Why do we do that?
Because of the way your brains are configured.
Yeah, we can do multiple things at once.
So you got spaghetti brains. Everything connects to everything in your brains. Everything.
Right.
Men, their brains are like little squares. They're compartmented. Right. And you can. I heard this from a Christian pastor. He's a comedian, actually. One time he goes, and for a man, you're going to take out the bills box, and you're going to go through the bills box, and when you're done with the bills box, you shut the lid. You put it right back into the same spot, and it doesn't touch anything else.
Yep.
And then you open up the car box, and you look through the car box, and you put the car box back. Where women are connecting the car to dinner, to the vacation next year.
Yep. I can see where that would be confusing.
It'd be very confusing.
So I'll try to,
Very, very confusing. Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to come off as trying to say I'm an expert. I'm not. I'm just stating what I think makes the most sense to me, but I'm not going to say you have to believe or you have to, who knows? None of us know.
That's a perfect topic. Truth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, that's one of the ones that we came up. I never did get that list to you, brainstorming list.
Oh yeah.
But truth was one of the topics. So let's just go down that road then.
Okay.
For now.
Okay.
Like you said, is there a universal objective truth? I would say no.
I would too.
But then I have to ask, is that true? See, but here's the problem. We're trying to define something from duality. Mm-hmm. And the only place duality exists is here. So if we sit here and try to figure out if truth is real or not, then we're just remaining in the third density where duality exists. When in reality, we know when we go to 5D and above, truth is truth and truth is not truth. It coexists in every possible scenario, every infinite scenario, every possibility is available.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it from like a unified quantum field perspective.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful of how we're trying to frame that question. Does truth exist? Here in the third density, I would say absolutely. Truth does exist, but your truth is different from my truth.
Yes. That's what I would say.
And we create our own realities through our thoughts and our emotions.
Yep.
So the truth that we create is our own objective truth. Now, I've heard people say things like, the only objective truth is that we have free will, and we return to source, or something like that,
Right.
Well, is that really true?
Yeah.
Here's why I asked that. Now think about it from a Christian perspective.
Uh-huh.
If a Christian believes, if you don't accept Jesus, your personal Lord and Savior, and confess your sins, you're going to hell.
Right.
Now, does that send you back to source?
Right. Yeah.
Yet here I am in the third density, creating my own reality, believing that since I'm not a Christian, I'm going to hell.
Right. Yeah. It's a big thing to try to figure out. I think everybody's truth, they have to find it for themselves, and it's what you believe.
I'm glad you said I think.
Yeah.
But seriously,
Yeah.
because a lot of people will say, well, and then go into their explanation without saying, in my opinion, or I believe, or I think, or my truth is.
Yeah.
A lot of people will just say something, and the expectation is that you have to take that as truth or gospel.
No.
And right. And I just read something, or maybe it was a YouTube video I was watching. It said, anybody who says, I've got the way, or this is it, one way to do it, walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Walk away.
Yep. Because we, it's just like something simple, like, an apple. Maybe you hate apples, and I love apples. So for you, the truth is that apples are not for me.
No.
They're not good for me.
Right.
But for me, I like them. They're good. So it's everything can be true for one person and not true for another person. And I even think like regular things that we learn in school. Think about what they teach us in school. They do teach us to read and write and math. But, 10, 20 years later, they could prove that somehow 2 + 2 is not 4. So we don't even know if that was the truth.
Yes.
Later they'll have some science and whatever, and everybody tends to say, well, if science says it, then it's the truth.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting too.
The science will change.
Well, it does. In fact, there's a guy who is making history disproving those kinds of things. His name's Robert Edward Grant. Mm-hmm. If you've not heard of Robert Edward Grant, check him out. Mm-hmm. He's what's called a polymath. He's a very interesting guy. Again, don't take his truth as your own personal truth, but just check out what he has to say. It's fairly interesting.
Right.
So a polymath is somebody who's skilled and gifted in so many areas. And rather than being a jack of all trades, they're actually experts in a variety of fields. So,
but anyway,
let's talk about shifting the shit.
Shifting the shit. Should we show the video?
Yeah, we can do that.
Stop owning what you don't want. My anxiety, my depression, my stress, my ADD, ADHD, my cold, all these things. Stop owning them. Look at this. When you own something, do you want to lose it? Like my car. I own this car, right? I don't want to come out tomorrow morning and it's gone. I don't want it to be gone. But do you really want a cold? Do you really want ADD, ADHD? Do you really want stress? Do you really want anxiety? And any other freaking label that you can come up with here. Stop taking on the labels. Your brain is designed to hold on to what you claim is mine. So somebody will come up to me and say, oh, do you have a cold? I will never admit that I have a cold, okay? I say, I don't even say the word. Something's trying to get me, and it ain't gonna work. That's That's the most I'll go in that area. So this is that shifting, all right? Shift the shit. This is it. You have to shift it. Shift how you're saying it in your head, and then shift how you're saying it out of your mouth. If you have been diagnosed with something, this is how you say it. The doctor said it is. So I'm not saying you can't say what it is, all right? But the doctor said instead of I have or mine. Really important. Sounds silly, sounds simple, right? Sounds little. It's not little, it's huge. This is huge. Stop owning what you don't want. Stop accepting labels. Stop labeling yourself.
So let's talk about, what she just said. She said, don't own it. I mean,
Don't own it.
And that goes right along with what we've always heard, right? Every time you speak something, you give it energy.
Yep.
So if you're going to sit there, and if I'm going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I had this heart attack 10 years ago, now I have heart disease.
Or yeah.
Well, you're damn right I have heart disease.
Yeah.
Because I'm owning it.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what I've done recently? Mm-mm.
Right.
I don't have anything. I don't have any problems. I got no problems.
Neither do I.
No.
Yes. We are healthy 29-years-olds.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Dang.
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember what that was. 29. Dang. I think I was a lot skinnier. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that's coming. That's
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about is because, especially with medical and, you're a healer too. I'm a healer. But then there's this whole thing of epigenetics. Have you?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's talk about this so people understand what epigenetics is. The idea that actually not the idea anymore. It's actually been proven through several scientific studies where based on your outlook, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you can upregulate, turn on, and downregulate, turn off certain gene sequences.
Mm-hmm. You explained a lot better than I did. Because all I remember is just that it's your environment a lot of times. And when you grow up as a little kid, you're in the alpha state most of the time. Yeah. When an authority figure, which is an adult, tells you, all of us get heart disease, or everybody in the family does X, and everybody in the family does this. You're just programming that child to get stuff later.
What was it? The Jesuits used to say, "Give me a boy from the ages of 0 to 7, and I will give you the man he will be," or something like that. Yeah. So it is the programming, and epigenetics is basically the programming of your genes and how we are. Some people will be like, well, I'm predestined to have, or predisposed to have this because it runs in my family. Well, you know what? It's going to continue to run in your family if you keep saying that.
Yep. Exactly.
You want to break that curse? You want to break that link? Stop saying it. Yeah. And never, ever, ever tell your kids about it.
Never tell your kids.
No.
Yeah.
Because they will not know. Lewis Howell, are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
He was brought up with this mantra from very young age, you cannot be hurt. And if you are, you will heal quickly.
Yes.
He was brought up with that from a very young age. And guess what?
Yep.
He even will tell you he's never been seriously injured. And even when he has minor injuries, they go away very, very quickly.
Yep.
That's not
so true.
That's not something that you're born with.
Yeah.
That is something that is programmed at a very young age.
And I have another example of that with my brother. My mom, typical mom, he kept running outside in the winter in the freezing cold without his coat. And she kept saying, as mothers do, don't go outside without your coat on, you're going to catch a cold. Mm-hmm. And so every time he would catch a cold, like in the next few days or whatever. And she learned about this, and then she caught herself one day and she's like, don't go out. And he's like, I know, without my coat on. She's like, nope. Actually, it's changed now. You can go out without your coat on all you want. You're not going to get sick. And he stopped getting sick.
Imagine that.
So, and they've also proven it's only 10% of the genetics you get from your mom and dad now, as far as diseases or whatever you get. Is
it that much? I thought it was.
Maybe it's less now. I heard it was 10%, but Because they've proven that with twins. Twins don't get the same.
Yes. So Joe
things.
Dispenza talks about that a lot too, and he said that that genetic what am I trying to say? Generational genetic defects are less than 2%.
Yeah. Well, 2% would be great. Yeah.
But that particular one, and he gives examples like, you have two men who grow up working in the same factory, exposed to the same chemicals.
Yep.
And one gets cancer and one doesn't. Well, it's not environmental.
Right.
It's not environmental.
Really is.
Right. That's right. It's, who knows? That other man may have been told when he was younger, all men in our family get prostate cancer by the time they're 65.
Yep.
Guess what you're going to get?
Yeah.
So owning or shifting the ship. Now let's get back to shifting the ship. Yeah. Now that I love that phrase.
I know. It's
only
great.
Because I was never allowed to say that word when I was younger, and now I can, and I don't care. But let's talk about that for a second, though, because this is vitally important. You trying to break your programming in a beta brainwave state, like we are right now, is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. Why? Because 98% of the thoughts that you thought yesterday are the same thoughts that you're going to have today, are the same thoughts that you're going to have tomorrow. Okay. So the only energy you have left is 2% to try to change 98%. You're swimming upstream. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, oh man, listen to me. You can't do it.
Right.
Oh
I know.
gosh.
We should have a buzzer.
So he does not say, Joe Dispenza does not say you can't do it. That's not what he says. He says it's going to be a lot more difficult.
Right. It's just like if you decide to be a famous athlete right now, and you have no skill, you have to learn to play tennis or whatever, and it's going to take a little practice. It's going to
take some practice.
Yeah.
So, but the key to modifying these, now let's also talk about the scientific part of this. This is actually a physiological phenomenon in your brain. It's called neural networks. Your brain cells have wired together in certain formations due to your programming. So this formation is the thought that you're going to get cancer when you're 65. This formation over here is the understanding that you're going to catch a cold if you go outside without your coat. Now, you have been told this so many times, and you've believed it over and over and over and over and over again, that these neural networks... Yes, that's from an authority figure, yes. That these neural networks are solidified. Like they're almost like cemented in, they're anchored in. Pruning them that's the difficult part. And if you're trying to do it in the beta brainwave state, which where we're at right now, and I'll explain the different levels of brain function in a second, that it's going to be extremely difficult. So what you want to do is you want to get into the next lower level, which is called alpha. And you're familiar with them. So just so the viewers understand, beta brainwave is what we're in right now. We're having a conversation, we're awake. It's when your logical thinking, analytical, critical mind is active. In other words, your prefrontal cortex, it's active. The next level, and that actually goes from 13 hertz to 22 hertz. And there's 3 levels within beta also. You've got low level beta, which is probably what you all are doing right now. You're just kind of paying attention. You're not really... Now, if I said there's going to be a quiz after this, and you can't stop watching, you have to go back and rewatch the video to get all the answers, or you can't have any dessert, now you're going to perk up. You're going to start paying a little bit more attention. That takes you up to mid-range beta. Then there's high-range beta, and that's when the tiger is around the corner. You're going to fight, flight, or hide. So those are the beta brainwave states. But what we want to do is we want to go into alpha brainwave state, and you do this through meditation. And Joe Dispenza has a great program on how to do this. But you want to go into alpha brainwave state because being in alpha brainwave state, you put away your logical, critical, thinking, analytical mind. It's gone. It's not there. And all that energy is now freed up to start working on you.
And I mentioned just a quick thing so they can tie it together. Children, and I don't remember the ages, but I think until about 7 or 8.
Yeah,
they
between
are
7
in
and
alpha
9.
the whole from birth to 7. So everything you tell them is going to go in, and that's going to become a belief for them.
And actually, newborns are actually in delta.
Yeah, well,
that's 0.5 hertz up to 4 or 5 hertz.
Yeah.
And then comes theta, which is 5 to 8. Alpha is 8 to 13.
Yeah.
And as you grow older, up to the ages between 7 and 9, somewhere between the ages of 7 and 9, you actually move into beta. But before that, you are in meditation.
Yes. So if anybody has kids out there at this age, please be very careful when
everything you tell them becomes a hardwired program.
Just
in
tell
their
them
brains.
things like that guy. Just say, you are incredibly smart.
Yeah.
You are wonderful in every way.
You cannot be hurt. And if you are, you will heal quickly.
And you have tons of money. Whatever you want to tell them.
You're rich.
You solve all problems with ease.
Yes.
That's what everybody should be telling their children.
Luck flows to you. Oh my gosh. We would have such a great society, right? Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go back to this. So going through meditation, you want to get into alpha brainwave state at a minimum, because that's when you can start to change and prune those neural networks. And you'll know when you're in alpha brainwave because we do it several times a day. Everybody does. Yeah. It's called daydreaming. We all know what a daydream is, right? But in this case, we're inducing it consciously. And you are still conscious as you go into the alpha brainwave state. When you get there, then you say, I don't like that neural network anymore. Now I'm going to replace it with this. And you start reprogramming your neural networks. Now, again, Joe Dispenza has a great program for going through this. And I just explained in 10 minutes what he explains over the course of about hours.
Also, I've heard it's really important. A good time is first thing when you wake up, you're still in that kind of foggy state. And also right before you drift off to sleep is an important time.
But do not do it in your bed. Do not meditate in your bed.
I hadn't heard that.
Well, because the law of association, when you associate your bed with sleep, so you're going to end up going to sleep. The law of repetition says you do something over and over and over again, then this happens. Well, when you lay down in your bed, you go to sleep. Yeah. So you don't want to meditate you don't want to meditate while you're driving. And even though I've sometimes been like, damn, where'd that last 30 miles go?
Yes.
But yes, that's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, that's right. Spirit takes the wheel. I should write that song. Spirit take the wheel. I could sample some music from somebody. Anyway, and if you're really interested in this, then what you would probably want to do is develop a daily practice. Set up a sacred space of your own. Set up a place that really feels comfortable. You can feel the energy in it. Some people set up altars. Nothing wrong with that. The ritual.
It works for you.
Right, exactly. Ritual is designed to raise your vibration. So there's no such thing as doing something wrong when it comes to ritual, as long as it's raising your vibration. Yeah. So if you want a nice piece of felt there with some photos of ancestors and maybe some really cool stones, or maybe some gift offerings of fruit or chocolate, or light a candle, it doesn't matter. You can do any of that stuff.
What about listening to the affirmations that you recorded as you're falling asleep or any time of the day? Yeah.
So that's not active meditation, right? But it is a technique to subliminally get thoughts programmed into your mind. Yeah. So if you repeat mantras, or if you repeat thoughts and affirmations and have them recorded, if you listen to those while you go to sleep, as you drift off, then your mind will absorb those. That's a good point.
Yeah. There's a lot of different techniques. Then I want to tell you about one other thing. So for me, I feel like everything comes down to beliefs. Because once you get something in your head, it's your truth, like we were talking about earlier. So what happened with me is I was under that influence in my family, and what it was endometriosis. And on my mother's side, they said, oh, and there's a lot of women on my mother's side. They said, every woman in the family is going to get endometriosis. You're going to have to get your uterus out. It's a big thing. It's a pain in the butt. You're all going to get it. They told me when I was about 20, they said, you're going to get it too. And I looked at them, and I didn't really know a lot about this stuff, but I knew enough, I guess. And somebody had told me, you're going to get it too, and I was like, no, I'm not. And I just looked at them. And in that moment, I flipped it into my brain, something that I could believe. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not going to get it because I take after my dad. And that was enough for me to really, really believe it, because I did take after my dad. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, that belief flipped. I didn't need to do any meditation. I didn't need to reprogram. I believed it wholeheartedly. And it flipped, and I never had any problems with that.
And so you pruned that neural network and built a new one.
Yeah, I kind of just
based on that
roadblock.
Yeah, just based on that literal flip of a switch.
Yeah, so
in your
beliefs
thinking
can trump.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Mm-hmm. And even the whole reprogramming process through meditation is shifting your beliefs and understandings. That's what it's all about.
It is. Yeah.
But gosh, if you can consciously do it and actually believe it, because we can sit here and tell ourselves stuff, but your body knows he doesn't really mean it.
Right.
Is it like, okay, I'm going to start dieting on the 1st of July.
Right.
And your body's like,
yep.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Yeah, but when you make up your mind and like, oh, I'm going to lose this weight, and you get it in your head, and you're like, no, I'm doing it.
So you have to make a decision with such firm intensity that it outweighs any other decision that you've ever believed on that subject.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you will conquer it.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's. Yeah, I saw that happen, and it was wonderful. And I'm the rebel, so I like to do that kind of stuff. I like to be like, I'll show you. I'm not getting that disease. So it kind of worked for me.
Yeah.
But we can shift it with so many things. Well, do we want to share that recently we had a customer come in, and she was dealing with what she thought was bad luck and death in the family and things like that. And we ended up having a conversation that death can be beautiful. Their home, she did believe in reincarnation, and she had gotten signs from her father. And so we flipped the whole thing around to kind of a positive for her. She felt so much better. Whereas before it was just like, oh, these people are dying and it's horrible and my family's impacted. And,
she was owning it.
She was owning it. Yep. So I think we shifted her a little bit.
I think so. At least gave her something new to think about. Yeah, a different way to think about it if she chooses to do it. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's not our responsibility, it's hers. Yeah. And all we can do is give her the tools and the ideas, and then whatever she does with it after that's up to her.
Right.
This is her adventure, it's her path, and she's here to experience certain events. And these were events that she, it was in her soul blueprint to experience these things. And now what she does with it is what she can use her free will for.
Yeah.
Making decisions.
Exactly. Yep. But getting back to the illness thing, another great way to look at it is, we all know when, a lot of times people will go into the doctor, get a diagnosis, and they're like, okay, I have this, or I, whatever. And they're owning it. But what about the people, again, that walk in and get the diagnosis, and they're like, no, I'm not dying in 4 months.
Yeah.
And they go right out that door, and they live for many, many years because, again, they flipped it in the brain. They will not accept it. They won't own it.
That's why I'm not going back to my cardiologist.
Yes.
I'm not.
Exactly.
Nope, I've decided there's a completely different path that I can go that's all natural. Yeah. I don't need any drugs. And
exactly.
I just I'm going to get some teeth fixed, and that's going to that's going to heal up a lot of stuff going on, believe it or not.
Yep. So again, flipping it and shifting the shit, flipping in your brain and
shift the shit. Shift it. Come on, say it, Jacqui. Shift the shit.
We don't want it. We don't want any of these. And it could be little things like stress or whenever you say, I am this. If it's not happy, fun, all the good things, then look at it.
I am healthy.
Right, I am.
I am
healthy. Yes.
And I continue to tell myself that daily.
Yes. Yep. And you will be.
Should we go get some ice cream now?
Yeah, because if I had a friend that wanted to prove this too, and she loved peanut M&Ms, so she came up with a belief in her mind that the peanut M&Ms were vitamins. And so every time she had one, she was making herself healthier. And if you really believe it,
oh my goodness, that is awesome!
Right?
Wow.
So there's many ways you can play with this stuff.
Peanuts are healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I would say about chocolate covered almonds.
It's true. Yeah, the almonds are healthy.
And really, dark chocolate is healthy too.
Yeah, well, 85% and darker is actually supposed to. The polyphenols in there are really, really heavy and good for you. Very good for you. You get the same thing from coffee, but obviously only in moderation. You know, because too much dark chocolate is not good for you. Too much coffee is not good for you. But to deny yourself those little pleasures.
Right.
Is there's no reason for that.
Right.
Have a cup of coffee and understand that the polyphenols in that coffee are actually very, very healthy for you. But stop there.
It's whatever, or not. I mean, it's whatever you believe. Because there's people out there going to McDonald's every day, and they believe it's healthy. They believe it's good. They don't know any different, and it will be for them, right? Yeah. So, it's all about beliefs.
Yeah. My dad's really 83 and he still eats at McDonald's. I mean,
But it's funny how I've been studying nutrition and stuff like that for many years. Don't you know it? You can't quite unknow it.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of puts you in a little bit of a, weird position.
But no, you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. I've been studying a lot about nutrition, probably not the same route you're going.
Yeah.
But the one thing that has balanced me out with that is that what I know, not everybody else needs to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, when you get that piece of information, you want to go out and shout it to the world, you got to remember, no, because that is not meant for them at this point right now.
Well, sometimes it is.
Sometimes. But only when those situations arise and you know that it's and one of the ways that I caveat that is ask Spirit to bring people to me rather than me going out looking. That's ego. I sit back and I have this to offer if somebody comes to me.
Right.
That way I'm not, because when you're out there trying to preach it to people on a loudspeaker, that's nothing but ego.
Right.
It's nothing but ego, and you're turning people off and away from what it is you're trying to convince them of that's right and good, even if it is right and good.
Right. That's true. That's true.
But I think that's what I do.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. But I do think, too, sometimes if somebody is complaining about something and you might have some information about it, you could say, well, this is what I do.
Yes.
This is what's helped me.
Well, if
Don't know if it'll help you, but
if somebody's complaining,
Spirit uses us.
If somebody's complaining to you, Spirit has brought them to you.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, you're right. And now if you're in a social setting and you overhear something, maybe that's not the time to butt in.
Yeah.
That's not your conversation. But if the person comes to you and is like, "Oh, I'm having bad luck."
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Right.
Let's shift that thinking there, my friend.
Yeah. Yes. Start a public service announcement.
That would be great. Shift the shit.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, this has been fun, Jacqui. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Yes, it's been great.
Yeah, for our first go, huh?
Yes, our first go.
So, what other kind of topics do you think that we should probably? Well, I got a better idea. Why don't we get some ideas from the viewers? What kind of topics they want? What kind of topics would you like to hear us discuss? What's on your mind? What kind of burning desires do you what subject matters are burning desires that you want to hear about. Do we want to talk about manifestation? Do we want to talk about prayer? Do we want to talk about crystals? Do we want to talk about reincarnation? Do we want to talk about, what's the difference between religion and spirituality? I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
We've got lots of experience and lots of knowledge between us, and really enjoy just shooting back and forth with what our opinions and understanding of various spiritual topics are. And sometimes we're going to talk about rock music because we both happen to be metalheads. So,
yep.
When we start jamming out to AC/DC, you'll understand why.
Yeah, we might have that in the background.
Maybe.
We believe it's high vibe and high energy.
I like
As
it.
fire signs, we probably would.
Yeah.
All my
That's
friends
true.
are like, no, Elton John. Elton John's great.
Yeah, if I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah. And we know that there's a lot of, I love the term free thinkers,
Mm-hmm.
open-mindedness, things like that. So that
Exiting the matrix.
taking the I forget, it's the red pill or the blue pill.
Oh, yeah.
Going down the rabbit hole, all those things. So, what's on you all's minds about this kind of stuff? Because people that would watch this kind of video would be also people that think about that stuff. Some people call it the woo, whatever you want to call it.
Call it whatever you want. I don't care. I really don't.
Yep. So we.
And here's the other thing, Jacqui. Let's make it very, very clear here to the viewers too. We're not trying to change anybody's mind,
No.
and we are not trying to give you an alternate version of what your truth should be. Not at all.
Not at all.
We are just speaking from here what these things mean to us.
Right.
And you know what? If we come up with a topic or a saying or even the entire podcast and it doesn't resonate with you, please move on.
Yeah.
We
could be totally wrong.
Don't spend your energy
Our truth
in a
is
place
not necessarily yours.
Don't spend your energy in a place that's not raising your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And not every podcast dedicated to spirituality is going to raise your vibration because we are all different.
Yep.
And so if we don't resonate with you, it's okay. There's somebody out there that does, and that's the person you need to find.
Yep.
And for those of you that we do resonate with, we'd love to have you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Well, from the Fire Signs chats,
Fire sign chat.
until our next one, we'll see you later.
Bye.